Today I'm comparing these two boards to see how they feel with transition skating. My transition setup, Andy Anderson, the shaped board, or my 8.75 inch Popsicle deck, my street setup. There's no doubt about it, I'm faster on this one. And that's not exactly a fair comparison because we're talking about different bearings, different trucks, different wheels.
Before we continue, let's get you caught up on my two setups. My transition setup is with this Andy Anderson deck, and my newer setup, which I call my street setup or my street cab board, is with this Powell Peralta Popsicle deck. The Anderson deck has a 15-inch wheelbase. It's 32.8 inches long and 19.13 inches wide at its widest. The nose and tail are both 6.8 inches long, but the most striking thing about this deck, of course, is its distinct shape, with its wide tail and squared off corners. Now the street cab board has the traditional Popsicle shape and 7-ply standard construction, and the Anderson deck is a flight deck, making it thinner and lighter. But aside from that, the specs are remarkably similar. The same exact concave, same wheelbase, similar deck length. You wouldn't think that a 0.38 inch difference in width would be a big deal, but these two decks feel very different to ride. There are also some big differences with the rest of the setups. In my transition setup, I have independent 159 forged hollow trucks, 56mm nanocubic 97A wheels, Bones Swiss 6 bearings. On my street setup, I've got Thunder 151 hollow lights, 52mm Dragon wheels, those are 93A, Bronson G3 bearings. So now that you're up to speed on my two setups, let's get back to comparing how they skate for transition.
I'm faster and more stable because of the extra width, and I think for some reason the shape of this board gives me extra comfort. Let's try the weightless kick turn with both setups, where I go up high on the wall and do a kick turn. I mean, it feels smooth, but less stable. Less room for my foot. It's like on this board, my foot, when I'm riding transition, has to be exactly locked into the proper spot. With Andy Anderson, I feel like I have more wiggle room. Like if my foot's not exactly where I need it, I have room to move it around on the board. But with the Popsicle, I don't feel like I had that luxury of moving my foot around. So it's like, get it in the right spot and keep it there, you know? Man, this setup just has an easier time rolling.
At this point, I did a decent sized drop in with both setups.
See how it works from whatever size this is, I don't know. I'm used to dropping in with this board, this shape. I'm gonna switch it out to street cab. So I can do it on this board, of course, no problem. But it's ever so slightly more sketchy than Andy Anderson.
All right, let's try these setups on the snake run.
Snake run's pretty sweet, but I think it favors front side, at least for regular foot skaters. It's kind of forcing me to go hit that big wall front side, which, you know, is not my comfortable side. I mean, just talking board shape, board size, I'm much more comfortable on the shape deck, on the Andy Anderson in this section. If we're talking about trucks, wheels, bearings, this is a faster setup with the 97A Nano Cubics versus the 93A Dragon and the Bone 6 Swiss bearings, which I think really help a lot too. That's the kind of the engine that's getting me going and making me faster. But the board itself, the deck itself, even though like in theory this isn't that much bigger, right? The street setup's 8.75. This is 9.13 at its widest. And the other thing is that actually the length of the two boards is exactly the same, about 33 inches. And the wheelbase is the same at 15 inches. So we're really talking about 0.38 inches wider here at its widest point. And then the shape, that alone seems to make this a more stable setup for me. And when it comes to dropping in, I also prefer dropping in with the Andy Anderson. Just that wider tail makes it seem more stable. There's more room for my foot on here. But I have been skating my street setup more in the mini bowl, and it's been working great. But when I get to this bigger transition, I'm definitely more comfortable on the shaped board.
Now let's take it back to the bowl.
For just pumping and carving around the bowl, trying to get speed, stay on all four wheels for the most part, but also some kick turns, you know. This is where it's at. A shape board, nice wide shaped board is where it's at. All right, now that I'm all warmed up and wild and crazy, let me try some carves on the street setup. Let's see what street cab can do, you know? I'm not as confident on street cab hitting those carves, and I'm not as fast. Yeah, hanging my heels off of the back of this is not nearly as comfortable as hanging them off of Andy Anderson. The other thing is, as far as pumping, I find it just easier to pump with this shape. There's more angles. I think they're slightly more concave too. Even though on Pal's website, both boards are supposed to have the same concave, but maybe because this is wider, it, you know, sticks up a little more on the edges. There's more for your foot to kind of feel. It's easier to know where you are on the board versus the Popsicle. You're not quite sure where your foot is, but with a shaped board like this, your foot just sort of learns it like a map. And there's just more to push on for pumping.